You told an interviewer that you have learned to, in your words, love the thing that I most wish had not happened.
I remember.
You went on to say, "What punishments of God are not gifts?" Do you really believe that?
Yes. It's a gift to exist. It's a gift to exist. And with existence comes suffering. There's no escaping that. And I guess I'm either a Catholic or a Buddhist when I say those things, because I've heard those from both traditions. But I didn't learn it that I was grateful for the thing I most wish hadn't happened, is that I realized it. Mm. Is that, and it's an oddly guilty feeling.
It doesn't mean you are happy.
I don't want it to have happened. I want it to not have happened.
Right.
But if you are grateful for your life, which I think is a positive thing to do, yeah. Not everybody is, right. And I'm not always, but it's the most positive thing to do, then you have to be grateful for all of it. You can't pick and choose what you're grateful for. And then, so what do you get from loss? You get awareness of other people's loss.
Well, that's true. Empathy.
Which allows you to connect with that other person, right. Which allows you to love more deeply and to understand what it's like to be a human being, if it's true that all humans suffer.
Right.
And so, at a young age, I suffered something so that by the time I was in serious relationships in my life, with friends, or with my wife, or with my children, is that I have some understanding that everybody is suffering. And however imperfectly, acknowledge their suffering and to connect with them and to love them in a deep way that not only accepts that all of us suffer, but also then makes you grateful for the fact that you have suffered, so that you can know that about other people. And that's what I mean. It's about the fullness of your humanity. Mm. What's the point of being here and being human if you can't be the most human you can be? I'm not saying best, because you're going to be a bad person and a most human. I want to be the most human I can be. And that involves acknowledging and ultimately being grateful for the things that I wish didn't happen, because they gave me a gift.
Well, one of the things my mom would often say is that she said, you know, I never ask why me. Like, why did this happen to me? She would always say, why not me? Why would me be exempt from what has befallen everybody, countless others over the centuries? And I think that's another thing that has helped me think, yeah, of course, why not me? This is part of being alive. I mean, this is the suffering is the, you know, sadness, suffering. These are all, you know, you can't have happiness without having loss and suffering.
And in my tradition, that's the great gift of the sacrifice of Christ, is that God does it too. Mm. That you're really not alone. God does it too.
I heard you say something once. I just thought it was funny. You said you were saying that you don't proselytize because something about I'm going to mull it, but it was basically that you don't proselytize. More Jesus for me.
Exactly. I don't really proselytize. I don't necessarily want to make anybody from my point of view, more Jesus for me.
But
here at the old heaven buffet, though I don't even have a well-defined enough cosmology to have a sense of what's going to happen. But I want to talk about that you know, gifts of God. What's up? What punishments of God are not gifts? That's actually, I'm quoting Tolkien there. That's not me. That's Tolkien, because in the Tolkien mythos there are elves and men, which are the children of Iluvatar, which is the one god within the Tolkien mythos.
And the elves live forever.
Elves live forever. They are part of the world.
Whom do we know who's an expert on all things Lord of the Rings? Folks, when I spent my entire teenage years reading all of Tolkien, not just The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, I'm talking Farmer Giles of Ham, Smith of Wootton Major, Leaf by Niggle. I knew I was preparing myself for something important. Why else would I ignore all my classwork, abandon sports, and achieve a paleness I have yet to shake off?
Your mom had studied theater, wanted to be an actress.
Yes, she was going to Carnegie.
Was that something that, She was then in Haiti for reasons I'm not sure, which
I think it was Haiti. It was in the Caribbean.
And she got really sick with a tropical disease.
Yeah, like classical, like a rare tropical disease,
Right.
almost like a cartoon of a disease, and she almost died.
And then, but in that process of recovery, ended up
My dad
getting
said, "Will
married
you
to
marry me?"
Right.
And instead of having, acting career, she started her own theater company, which was 11 children.
And amazing, that's how it
Yeah.
was. But did her desire to act, which was then given up to have this family, was that something that you absorbed?
It seems obvious that that would be one of my motivators.
Right.
That me, with my mom /
Ward?
buddy, in a way, like we became very close friends, that I would do this in some way for her, but it's just self-evident, right? It did not occur to me. Did not occur to me for many years. It really wasn't until she died that I realized a lot of what I did was still going back to making her happy from those early years after Dad and the boys died. Like, we remember distinctly when she laughed for the first time, like it was like a year later or something like that. But that's inside of you as a young person. You absorb that and digest that, but aren't necessarily aware of that until much later. I mean, when my sister Mary said a very interesting thing after Mom died, is that we were all going through this normal grief of my mother's death. And as I said after she died, like, we were so lucky to have her for so long, but how long we had her.
She was 92 when she died.
92, exactly. But that it might seem selfish to want more of someone you've known so long, but it merely amplifies the enormity of the room, whose door is now so quietly shut. Like, you can't ever open that door again. But on top of that, we realized, now we also lost Dad and the boys. In some ways, we were here for her because of her loss of her husband and her children. And when she went, she kind of took them with her, in a way. And so we all, or at least and I know I've talked to a couple of my brothers and sisters about this, but I assume it's a fairly general thing, is kind of re-experience that. And there had been this delayed dealing with all of that over 40 plus years. And I realized in that moment, oh, damn. I wonder if I want to still do comedy, because I kind of was doing this for her without still enjoying it and having all the love and the friendship and the camaraderie of it. But I realized, the seed crystal was make her laugh.